Back now with Frank Bruni, Michael D'Antonio, and Rick Wilson. So I just want to play this again because I played it a little bit earlier. Michael, this is you're the perfect person to talk about what the president says he's thankful for. Watch this.
What are you most thankful for, Mr. President?
For having a great family and for having made a tremendous difference in this country. I've made a tremendous difference in the country.
He's thankful for himself.
Listen, first of all, I want to tell you, I'm thankful for what I've done for your show. And I'm grateful that you gave me the opportunity because it's been wonderful for you. All right, this is really crazy.
That was a great Trump impression.
That was pretty solid, Michael. That sounded like my text from Chris Cuomo, though, on Thanksgiving, but go on.
I'm sure he would.
It was a little bit like that.
Let's not say that.
Anyway, go on.
You could be president.
This is a man whose frame of reference is me, myself, and I. And it never is anything but that. And I'm not sure that he can frame things differently. He's not aware of where the rest of the country is. You know, this debacle with GM, he's telling them, well, just open up more plants and make more cars. It doesn't matter to him what anyone else is concerned about.
She just better open up more plants. I heard that today. I'm like, okay.
Need to make some more cars.
Yeah, make some more.
And then sell some more. It's as easy as that. And
you know what? If he were running it, that would happen tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Because he knows more about cars than anybody in America.
I'm going to have a good climate and safe forests or something like that.
I just recalled that for the first three-card Monte game I ever saw as a kid from New Hampshire was on the sidewalk in front of Trump Tower. And I wonder who was running the game. I don't remember who was running the game.
I want you guys to watch this because this is just a few examples of what President Trump says he knows better than anybody else.
If you look at the trade deals, and nobody knows it better than me.
Nobody knows more about construction than I do. Nobody knows the politicians better than I do. Believe me, nobody knows more about environmental impact statements than me. So a general gets on, sent obviously by Obama, and he said, Mr. Trump doesn't understand. He knows nothing about defense. I know more about offense and defense than they will ever understand, believe me. I know more about ISIS than the generals do, believe me.
Yeah. He's a stable genius, remember when he said that? I mean, does he ever listen to that, to anyone else?
Well, he knows more about narcissism than anybody else. I'll grant him that one easily. But no, I mean, this goes on, and you get the sense when he says it that he believes it, but it's also, it's coupled with these moments of incoherence. I don't know if you remember the 60 Minutes interview. I think it was in there. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It was in an Associated Press interview. He was talking about how he knows climate science so well, and he gave the example of having an uncle who was a professor at MIT. Right. Now, he didn't say he ever spoke with the uncle. The uncle had nothing to do with climate science, but by some vague relationship with those genes, he was now a climate science genius,
right? He's been talking about that uncle for 30 years.
That uncle's very
Every time
useful.
Any scientist...
And you know what? Nobody knows uncles better than Donald Trump.
and he went to MIT, which means that
Nobody knows MIT.
Donald almost went to MIT. I think he went to MIT. He taught there, didn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, it's absurd. It's crazy.
Just this ludicrous self-regard that he has to do it, though. He's obligated to maintain whatever weird ego construct he has inside of his head all the time, and the lies have to pile up on more and more on each other. It's like, I know more about string theory than anyone. I built the Mars lander. I mean, Donald Trump, he's like President von Munchausen of these ludicrous fairy tales that he writes on the fly.
But this goes back to what you were saying. You said in, I don't know, reality that he, what was your analogy again?
Well, I was just saying if he divorces himself from the world of facts and truth entirely, right, then he's not going to be judged by worthiness or by what he's actually done. Yeah. He's going to be judged by what he can sell. Yeah. And that brings in his shamelessness.
I want to get this in because I think it's important. There's also 6 in 10 Americans now disapprove of Trump. That's according to the latest Gallup poll. That's up 10 points from a little over a month ago. What do you think what can we attribute that uptick to? I mean...
Look, he's a guy who has run a incredibly divisive administration. He's a failed president on almost every single axis. Almost none of the things he promised would occur have occurred. He doesn't have his wall. The tax bill's gone over like a wet diaper. See, I almost went too far. But Trump's administration basically is comprised of executive orders and bluster. So Americans are basically calling his BS finally. They're saying, no, look, The guy's not competent to hold the office. By large majorities, Americans think he's a lying liar.
Well,
who
you saw that in
lies.
the midterms, right? House Republicans didn't do well because, in large part, because of him.
Trump decided to nationalize the election, and there are 40 fewer Republicans there because Trump nationalized the election. Democrats will crawl over broken glass to vote against his candidates, and there are 40 less of them now.
Well, he
of
also
him.
promised jobs to communities that aren't getting jobs. He promised a tax cut to people who aren't
Trade wars
getting a
are
tax
easy.
cut. He promised to address the opioid crisis, and people are still dying in
Do you
great
think
numbers.
all that's come to fruition now? They're starting to realize since the last poll was taken, or during the...
I think people feel this. They feel it organically. And it's the same folks who felt something resonant when he won. So there is a whole population that is not watching the news every night, but they're responding to their own lives. And their own lives were very hard, and he appealed to them and got elected. Their lives are still very hard.
It's interesting, and it usually, you know, I'm going to sound like Donald Trump, but my gut is pretty good here. Just like as it was about the election, I was one of the first people that said you should take him seriously. He could actually win. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
So listen, I think my gut is pretty good. I do get the sense of what Michael just said is right, that there is this shift that's going on that's out there. And number two, quite frankly, over the holidays, it was interesting because I usually don't watch when I'm not working because I want to, you know, relax. I watched, there was less Trump. CNN was much more palatable without so many Trump stories.
You were happier.
No, but I get the sense that there's
Trump fatigue.
There's Trump fatigue out there.
But no, I agree with you 100%, but I think it's Trump exhaustion. I really think at this point, overarching everything you said, which is 100% true, I think Americans are exhausted. They're exhausted with the endless melodrama. They're tired of hearing his name. They're tired of seeing him saturate American life in the way he insists on doing. And I think you may simply have a president here who has overstayed his welcome.
This is what he did to his parents, and it's why he wound up at military school. He wore them out. This is absolutely true. They were exhausted by the time he was 13. Get out of
A
here.
little Trump goes a long way.
Did you guys have a good break? Did you
Yeah,
have a good break?
very good.
Terrific.
It's good to be back. It's good to see you. I'm glad you had a
Likewise.
good break.
Thanks for
Thank you
having
very
us.
much.